just going to go right on over to us on the stream, and then we'll go to the spinning wheel for the raffle. I used that even here yet. This is a Silent Fed raffle, by the way. So for those that are not in Silent Fed, rip. We ready to spin it? Rigged CNC.
Hold on. What was the event ping? Was that for like a minute ago? 5 minutes until live stream.
And that was like
okay,
6 minutes ago. So maybe more.
Longer than that. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. So I guess we'll just.
All right.
Ready to go. Here we go.
Let's see.
Oh, I thought that was going to stop on Cleo. Did it stop on Cleo? It did. It stopped on Cleo.
Oh, snap.
Holy shit. What is she going to do with that? She's a Logi pilot. Make some money, hopefully.
Another raffle.
Yeah, let's just do it again. I'll remove her name. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Rip.
FC, spin it again.
We don't
FC,
think you need
it again.
So there you go. All right, back to this. Back to this.
I have to update. There we go. Okay.
Cleo won. And it was recorded. And it was live.
She doesn't even know it yet, does she?
She doesn't even know it yet.
She'll be joining a little bit later, probably. What's our timer at? We're just gonna start. We're just gonna go right into it.
No, oh yeah, their timer's gone. I totally screwed up the timer. It's dead. So now we're just like dead air right here before we get into it. Everybody can see how the sausage is made.
The sausage?
Yeah, yeah. You know the old saying: you like to eat sausage, but you really don't want to know how it's made.
I've actually spent a bit of time playing Starfield this weekend.
Yeah, so tell me about it before we get the main show started.
Yeah, so I had it pre-ordered, so I was able to get the early access to it, and I was playing it remotely off of my Xbox. So I was playing it on my iPad, just connecting my controller to it, and I was playing. So that's how I was able to play while I was 3 hours away at my getaway, I guess you could say. And you know what? I actually really enjoy it. It has a lot of Fallout 4 vibes. Like, it has a lot of things that Fallout 4 had back in the day. Yeah. And it's like, okay, better graphics. It seems like a lot of the sound effects have been repurposed and possibly even tweaked a little bit.
Really?
The graphics look great. I mean, the dialogue, like even the dialogue part too, where it zooms in like on their face and then you're talking to each other and you can choose whether or not you want to persuade them or whatever. Like all of that is really good. You know, Fallout 4 was amazing too. It was great for its time, and this one, yeah. And I've spent a number of hours on it. I'm pretty low level still, and really I don't have anything bad to say about it. I'm taking it slow. It's not like I'm beating the game.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not like running through the game as fast as possible. I'm actually going to a cave, exploring it, and then coming out. You know, kind of like what I would do in a Fallout game. Oh, what's this planet? And then you do your scanning and your research, and you're checking out little creatures and stuff, and you scan them. And so, like, literally, like an hour or two ago when I got home, I played a little bit more Starfield and ended up on this moon, and it's just like, yeah, it's got a lot of stuff to it. Yeah, did watch a couple YouTube videos on it already with you know, some people saying that it's got, what do they call it? It's like Starfield Plus. So what it is it end game, but it's a new end game for after you beat the game. It resets the game, but you get to keep all your stuff, your money, all that stuff, your ships. And so you get to like redo the campaign or whatever. You can up the difficulty, and then like there's different dialogues and stuff to it. So curious as to how that's going to be implemented.
Yeah, yeah.
But so far, I'm liking it a lot. I like it a lot.
I won't have any time in front of it for almost 2 weeks now. The next 2 weeks I'm on the
Holy
road
shit.
continuously, and I only have one day in the next 2 weeks. Well, I'll be home. One day. That's it. So there's just no way.
You could play it remotely in a hotel room.
On my PC, from my PC. Probably could.
If
Probably
you have the Xbox app on your PC, you can connect to your Xbox.
I don't have an Xbox.
And oh, I thought you had Xbox.
No, I'm going to play on Steam.
Ah, okay.
So
Okay,
I mean,
well, they have Steam Deck.
Yeah,
Unless you play it on a laptop.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way I could probably do it, but I'm not set up for that, so I'm just gonna have to wait. So
I'm actually downloading it for PC as we speak. Not as we speak, but I have the download paused, of course, obviously for bandwidth issues. But I have it for PC as well. Start recording some videos.
Yep. Muffin says this is the Echoes of Starfield podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Little preview of the hitching post, I guess. I don't know.
The hitching post.
Yep.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking cool. I'm starting off as a stealth build. Yeah. Stealth, like going around sneaking around. It's usually what I do in the Fallouts and the Elder Scrolls games, is like I end up being some like thief assassin type person. Of course, that's when I went straight to in this and in their skill tree and traits and all that crap that you can pick out. So yeah,
I watched
it's exciting.
Or heard a story of a guy who went straight for stealing ships, and then figured out how to steal weapons without getting caught. Like, you can actually be in like a cantina or wherever he was at, and he picked up a trash can and used the trash can to push the weapon far enough away outside of the boundary, I guess, of where they would be stolen. Then he could pick it up and walk back in there, and no one would act like it was stolen. But if he just picked it up right away, he would get mobbed by 10 guys, right?
Yeah.
And so that's hilarious. That's just funny shit.
I've already been seeing some Starfield fail videos, and one was an old Skyrim trick where you would put a bucket on somebody's head, and then all of a sudden they can't see you, and you can go and you steal stuff right in front of them. Yeah.
That's too good. All right, we're 1 minute past 8 o'clock. We're probably ready to start the show.
All right, we shall get it started. Let's go. Let's go. Warning. The following show features language and other disputable information that is brought to you by the persons who actually play Eve Echoes under the supervision of NetEase. Accordingly, Echoes of New Eden hosts must insist that no one should get offended by the things that Taylor says. And welcome everybody to Echoes of New Eden podcast. Here we go. This is our house, welcoming everyone to another week of Eve Echoes, community news, game news, and everything in between. What's going on, Taylor Rick? Taylor Rick is with us. How goes it?
Good, man, good. As always, it gets old saying it, but man, another week. Here we are again. We didn't have a huge giant drop anyway from the devs this week, although there's a few things to go over there, and there's a little bit of interesting tidbits in the Q&A that we'll hit up as we get into it. And of course, we've got Dora here. Dora. He's going to tell me how I'm supposed to pronounce his name. Leader of BRRR, ladies and gentlemen. He's right here in the house. Going to come to you here with an interview in just a few minutes.
Few minutes.
Yeah,
yes,
we're going to get him. We're going to get to him.
We'll have him in. Oh, we're gonna get to. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, because it's like 3 a.m. for him.
You told me that, but I just wasn't thinking about show layout. I thought we were just gonna do a normal, front end portion of the podcast, then go toward the back. It's all right. We can have him first.
Well, we can make
then
him
we can
stay
go
up
over.
really, really late so that we know he's not there when we
Okay.
gank his shit later. I'm kidding, Dora. I'm kidding.
Grab an energy drink. Grab an energy drink. Okay, real quick. We'll run through the stuff that we have chosen, to talk about for tonight's episode. And I was thinking, I was like, man, it seems like we have so much stuff to talk about. We could almost do another show every week. We could almost do like 2 shows a week.
Yeah.
With the amount of stuff that we can talk about.
If we had the time, we would.
Right? Non-alcoholic Coronas?
I
What?
don't even know what that is. Sacrilege. Nessival, how dare you? He's got the stogie, though. You got that part going. I like it. I like it a lot.
All right. Okay. So before the show started, we did raffle off a Science C, and Cleo, I don't think I see her in the audience.
Nope,
She
not
had
yet.
won it. I don't think she knows that yet, unless Taylor had pinged her or something about it. But so she won that, and yeah, that was just another SHH Alliance raffle that was going on within the last couple of weeks that all the tickets sold on. So cool beans. Then as usual, we will go over the game news, the announcements, the latest Q&A. I did get a sneak peek of the Q&A as to what they're all about. We'll talk about the anniversary event that we had this last week. I watched I don't know, I probably watched like 20 minutes of it because I was actually 30 minutes. I took my lunch break and I watched the video, the live stream of that. We'll talk about that. The Corp Clash rewards went out. Gift codes went out. The Inscription of the Galaxy winners went out. What happened to the faction frigate IP? Or what happened to just the faction ships IP went
All of them.
absolutely insane
All of them.
this last week. Our photoshopped kill mills still an issue.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that later. The speculated EE player count. We do have a website that hints as to what they think is the EE player count. We'll talk about that. We'll get to consider your suggestion, as well as the commercials and all that. Then we'll get to Doro. Doro is here with us. Doro, in my notes, I had him for the end of the show, but we're gonna have him before we go through game news and all of that stuff. And it's actually, speaking of Cleo, she just joined.
I see that.
Cleo, you are the winner of a Science C. You had won the raffle.
Yep.
So
Very good. Very good.
have fun with that. Okay. All right, then Taylor, I'll hand it over to you. We got Doro in the house. What's going on, Doro?
He is unmuted. Yep.
There you go.
There we go. I guess I had to cycle it on my end.
Good
Duro, you
morning,
should.
gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah,
How
now
you
it's
doing?
working.
Yeah.
Well, tired as always, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not the first one to have had to wake up very early or not go to sleep to come on a podcast before.
Yeah.
It's often the case for our friends across the pond. Yes.
I mean, it's basically the same thing every time I want to attend like a big CTA or anything like that. Usually requires me to stay up till like 6 or 7 in the morning, so no fun most of the time.
Yeah. It makes it difficult. Makes it very difficult.
Yeah. I believe like at the moment I live in many time zones, not just mine.
Yeah. I recently got an Apple Watch, and I made one of the complications on it UTC time. And that's like a game changer to be able to just look down and see, and it's military UTC time, not just, oh, it's 7 p.m. in London. Okay, wait, hold on. What is that UTC? No, it's just straight UTC, so it's very nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly, Bradrick. Eve echoes. You'll never sleep again. That should be the ad. So, Dora, let's get right into it. You are the executor of BRRR, correct? The leader of BRRR, essentially.
By coincidence, I would say, but yeah.
By coincidence, yeah. How did you How and when did you fall into that? I mean, if you look at the timeline for this year, we've
Mhm.
had CC, then we had HHH, both of which are gone at this point, and somewhere amongst all of that, you stepped into the leadership role. When did that happen?
Well, basically, I always was in bird leadership at some point, but like mostly in a military fashion as FC. Um, was also not really interested in doing all the executor work.
Who is?
Honestly, so yeah, I would rather just be on grid shoot shit. But
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
is what it is. I mean, I had to take a break during the, let's say, quote unquote end of the war. Not to get into that discussion again. Um, but yeah, I had to take a little bit of a break due to personal reasons coming up. Some not so great news in personal life, but yeah, all good so far. So when I came back, I pretty much just learned that like everybody, not everybody, but like Mel was on a leave because of his wedding celebrations, stuff like that. Apparently, like in Bangladesh, those things take a couple of months and just an equal amount of money. And
Wow.
Oz was kind of going out of the game more or less because also I believe he did a lot of stuff uh, for BRRR and also for the community, I would say, as did Mel for the better part of the last couple of years. So I don't blame any of those guys for taking it slow or just stepping away from the game. I don't know if it's gonna be for a while or if they come back at some point in some capacity. I don't know yet. Um, but yeah, fact of the matter is, we kind of needed to restructure the leadership in BRRR a little bit, not just a little bit much. But at the moment, it's actually going really good. Couple more people stepping up to the plate and doing things. Yeah, well, we see where it's going. Like there's always change in games like Eve. Like
Of course.
I've played Eve Online for like 15 years, so pretty much seen all the things that happen usually in those games.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know how it's going. With change in leadership, uh, usually the direction or alignment of alliances and stuff like that changes a little bit, or a little bit more depending on the situation. But overall, I'd say it's still going good, despite MJD telling everybody that BRRR is disbanding soon. I don't necessarily think that is the case, but I'm sorry to disappoint there. But still
Yeah,
alive and
we
kicking.
know the things JD says. Yes, it's daily. You
And
know,
you spoke his
with
name, so somehow he's going to drop into the comms without us
right,
knowing.
somebody is pinging him somewhere. Oh,
It just said your
their name
name.
was brought up. Yeah, or his ears start ringing and then
I
he
think
joins.
that's what it is. He's got that sixth sense of as soon as someone says his names in any kind of voice chat anywhere, he knows. It's like a bat signal goes up
Yeah.
and he comes on air.
Maybe
and
he's
just
got
starts
a
talking.
wire. He's got a wire in one of our offices or something.
Not
you
here.
know.
I know that for a fact. It's got to be you. You're the spy, Rambo.
It's gotta be. So, you know, with Ozzy stepping down, and I didn't see like a formal step down from Ozzy. I just didn't see that. But you know, I remember one of the last times that we talked with him on the show. I was like, dude, when do you sleep? Because I would stay up.
Yeah.
My time would be like 1 in the morning, and wherever he's at. I know he was later than I was, and he would be roaming our space, you know, at 1 o'clock in the morning my time. I'm like, dude, when do you sleep? You know, he's just busy doing, you know, FCing fleets and all that. I was like, man, this dude's gonna get burnt out. And
It
maybe
seems like that's what
maybe he
happened.
hinted it
Yeah.
during that time. That I have to recall that conversation, but I mean, dang man, he was on the path to getting burnt out real quick. And then after CC, I guess, reformed into Triple H, it was soon after that as I think when he hung up his hat and said, "Okay, hey, this is time for a break."
Mm, yeah, I guess it's fair to say. I mean, end of the day, You don't necessarily have to wait until you quote unquote burn out in a game, right? Sometimes people just call it quits when the time is right, before they actually burn out. Because all of us, I believe, still have like a real life going on, family to take care of, and then at some point it probably just gets too much. I mean, also still around in like an advisory capacity, I would say. So he's still there. He knows what's going on. He's just not playing the game as much as he used to. Let's put it that way.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Good. Good. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I don't necessarily have the same philosophy as others. I'll just put it that way. But I would still love to see both of those guys back in the game, back FCing again, because it's fun to fight people. That's what this game is designed around, right?
Well,
I mean,
so
it's not. It's not just. It's not just that, right? It's also like Eve always has been a game of characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you always need like the good guys, the bad guys, and then everything switched around depending from what side you look at it. But that's also what makes the game fun. Like I'm not huge on Reddit. I occasionally post there just to get my lost mails sent to me, which is kind of hilarious. Um, but I mean, it's all in good fun. Like I even do read some Bradrick posts once in a while.
wow.
Which is
Those are for the
taxing.
times when you're on the shitter for a really long time, because those are wordy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you said that. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's so yeah. Obviously, I'm always happy if they want to come back at some capacity. For Mel, I'm actually not sure that he will. He like after his wedding, he had some other real life complications, I want to say, coming up that actually require him to focus on other stuff than the game at the moment. And like realistically, if he comes back to the game, like he's not coming back as like junior FC, right? So and then it will again require a lot of time to do all the things. So
Yeah.
don't know if that's gonna happen, but we shall see. We don't know.
Yeah. I had a court mate who'd gotten married, and he lived in Thailand. He had gotten married. He's like, "Hey, I'm not going to be playing as much. I got, they did this whole big wedding thing." I haven't seen him since. That was even before. That was before the Crabco War, and he had capitals to move, and our citadels blew up. Like, I'm messaging him, like he's completely off the grid, like gone, disappear. I'm like, well, shoot, he'll come back if he ever comes back, but it happens. That's basically the moral of that. It happens.
I think it's also fair to say, and Dora, I'd like to hear your perspective on this, but I think it's fair to say that the reality is very, very few people actually quit Eve. Whether it's Eve Online or Eve Echoes, I see the same kind of thing. People take a break. People take a pause or a hiatus. And that hiatus might be 6 months, might be 3 weeks, might be a year, but then they're back in some capacity. Do you see the same thing on your end, or?
Well, it's certainly true for myself. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken my fair share of breaks from the game for sure, and I also see like other people do it exactly like that. I guess it kind of depends on what position you have in the game, right? If you're a line pilot, it's not a big deal. You take a break from the game, you come back, you do whatever it is you're doing, and then move on. It's fine. I guess if you're like senior FC executor or head diplomat or whatever it is people are, right? And it's a little bit more difficult because like people expect you to come back in the same capacity as you were available for the game in the past, and that might turn out to be an issue. But ultimately, if you take a break, come back and say, oh, well, I want to be a line pilot now, or want to be junior FC, then it's also fine. Like the community is not that judgy, right? So
No, it
everybody's
doesn't seem
just
to be.
happy to have the people back they love to fly with. So
Yeah, I agree. People don't seem to be too judgy on that kind of thing. I think for the most part, the majority of the community understands the whole real life thing, and you got to have a balance. And when you do, you do, and when you don't, you don't. I think that's good that you see the same thing from your side of it. So,
I mean, I guess it's also like it's a long-term game, right? It's like nothing, or most things that you do in Eve don't have like immediate impact. Like especially like if you were a new player coming into Eve Echoes, you still probably need a couple months to get to a level where you can not play with the big boys, but right,
or at least play in a fleet and not
know
die
everything
instantly.
and know what's going on in the galaxy. So to
Yeah.
get into the community and be a part of it, and like those games are usually running for a long time. You see it with EVE Online, and it's running now for forever, I would say, right? And so there's always more options to just come back to the game if you've taken a break. Like with like other games that don't have that amount of lifespan, it's harder to take a longer break and then come back because so many things change in the game. In Eve, also things change, obviously, but it's easier to catch up on those things.
Yeah, and I think Eve Echoes has what I feel like is almost too much of an accelerated rate with things that they're rolling out. Do you feel the same way with that, or do you think they could make these changes faster?
I would, I would actually say they should really make those changes they announced. Like I'm still waiting for like the small ship content, really. Like you brought in Navy frigates just to make them unplayable a couple of weeks later, which is hilarious in my books.
Well,
And then also the wormhole content, right? That was a splendid option to make it like subcap content, so to speak. But then you allow super carriers in there, you allow dreadnoughts in there, regular carriers and stuff like that, and it makes it moot for the players that were looking for small scale or small ship content rather. Because at the end of the day, if you bring a subcap fleet in there, you're gonna look at a wyvern shooting at you. This is exactly what's gonna happen.
yeah, we've seen it happen a few times. Yeah, I agree that the Cobalt Edge space probably could use a little bit of tweaking. But going back to what you'd said about the Navy frigates, the small ship content, I know some of the PvP pilots are going to disagree with me the moment I say this in chat, but I think there's plenty of content for those small ship pilots right now, and I think that the way that the IP is structured in the game is a direct result of just the way the market is, and the fact that Cobalt Edge hasn't been exploited as much yet, and the minerals, the PI from the ship drops anyway, the loot, hasn't been exploited enough yet. I feel like that'll change. I feel like those numbers will come down. It'll be more of a commodity and less of a rare item over time. I think it's by design.
I guess you're not wrong, but like from a perspective of like a pure PvP player, right? If you don't do anything else, like you don't do raiding, you don't do mining or any sorts of exploration, whatever, so you just focus on PvP, like you always have those kind of hiccups that NetEase implements that totally screws with your track record, so to speak. Like I'm by no definition a top PvP player, but it's like imagine like those players who play for like 3 years to be on top of the leaderboards, right? And just to be overtaken because some other dudes killed like 3 sciences or something like that, or like 1.5 trillion ahead, like for no reason. Like you see what I'm saying? Like
no, there's a reason.
Small, yeah, obviously, but small scale content. Like if you're a frigate pilot and all you do is frigate PvP, the amount of stuff you need to kill to catch up to those things is atrocious.
Well, it's 2 different classes, sure. I mean,
yeah.
What would the alternative there be? That the kill mill for a Science C should be the same as a kill mill for a faction frig? I mean, obviously it's a higher value target, so it's going to be worth more.
Definitely. Yeah. But it's also a ship you can buy for 30 bill, right?
Yeah, so the Science C is its own little
just
weird
don't
conundrum.
The market with boxes.
Yeah.
And then
well, they got to stop giving.
Yeah.
They got to stop giving. Yeah, exactly. They got to stop. Well, it's going to get worse with the Science Cs. Your thing you're objecting to with the Science Cs is going to get worse as soon as people have to build them. So when you go and kill a couple of Science Cs, it's not going to be, it's going to be even worse. Whatever that market number is now will be even far worse than that because there won't be availability, so the cost will double.
It's the other way around as with the frigates. I agree. Like the saturation of the market will go down, and then actually people will need to build it.
Yep.
And then the Science C suddenly is now a totally different ship in terms of value and what kind of asset it is. But right now you get a 450 billion kill mail, and then you just buy a new one for 30.
Yeah.
Kind of me.
Yeah, I don't like that either. It's going to take time to work that out. The Science C is a tricky one. You can do the same thing with the faction frigs right now as well because of all the boxes being spammed. But I look at that as a much more short-term problem than the Science Cs, unless they keep pushing them out like they're doing with the Science Cs. So who knows? I mean, I feel like on that part we agree. They got to stop that with the stupid boxes. Otherwise, you'll never get any balance.
Or at least like limit it a little bit more. It's like if you like realistically, if you play like I don't know, a couple characters like 5 to 10 or something like that, chances are after the event you're looking at like 25, 30 of those frigate boxes.
Yeah,
and then
that's too much.
There's just one player then, right? Not everybody is doing that, but we have so many people that have a crap load of accounts, and I mean.
Do you see that as a problem? So many multi-boxers. Do you see that as an issue?
I'm used to it.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are used to it.
Same as in EVE Online. I don't see a problem with multi-boxing. No. I think, well, I mean, unless people do it with like macros and scripts, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that stuff's got to be.
For me, it's challenging. Like I usually do like 3 or 4 accounts in PvP, and I have to control all the ships like simultaneously, and it's all different ships. Yeah, it's always a shit show. Don't get me started on that.
Are you doing some of those on an emulator, or is it just like phones?
Yeah, I'm basically playing emulator.
Yeah.
Just like for CTAs or stuff like that. When there's like 500, 600, 700 people on grid, I just use mobile.
Yeah, the emulators will just die.
Not necessarily die, but the problem I encountered is like desynchronizations on the grid. Like you actually see your ship moving, but it's not really there. It's in a different place, and then it kind of screws everything up. So on the phone, never had that issue. Or tablet. So I'm doing the bigger fights on those.
Can't really afford that 5-second lag, or even a 3-second extra lag on the emulator when you're doing that kind of work. You just can't.
Not if you're driving the fleet, you can't.
Nope, not at all.
That's fair.
Then it's bad enough when you start, getting issues like that coming up, and then you add in E-War from the other side, or vice versa, and then you're not really sure if you're lagging, or you're desyncing, or you're getting hit with something, or whatever, and it's just a total shit show.
But it's gotten better. If I think back at the beginnings of the game when we had like 1,200 people in God knows where in some Gen-Fed wars, and then it's like half of the people couldn't even get to the grid, and then arrived on grid after 20 minutes waiting, and then everything's just black.
Yeah.
Those were the days. Those were the days.
Good times.
I mean, in fairness, we haven't really seen 1,200 on grid for a little while, although we got close to that in the current server war. I want to say this was like maybe March, maybe February.
Which
of this
battle?
Year. Oh.
Daku?
No.
D4KU?
D4 didn't even get to those numbers. D4 got up to 600 maybe at one point, but not. I'm thinking of one that was almost 850 maybe, and this was maybe even over in Wild Geese area. I don't know, somewhere over in that. I feel like it was over maybe towards Fountain. But
it's always Fountain.
It's always
Fountain.
Right, no kidding. But
I'm never going there.
But yeah, I mean, it does feel like things are in a much better shape from that standpoint. Just stability-wise. So,
for sure.
Yeah. So we've got super carriers that are all over the place now. Feels like there's quite a few of them in game, and we know that Titans are coming up pretty soon. What do you feel about the proliferation of these large, somewhat? Some people call super carriers indestructible, but I don't know. I've seen 10 kill mills so far. So.
Well, I'm a Titan pilot in EVE Online, so
yeah,
I enjoy that sort of gameplay. The problem I see in EVE Echoes is that it's just so out of proportion, right? Like if I draw the comparison to EVE Online, where you buy like a Dreadnought for 3 billion and stuff like that, and then for so many players, they have now gotten to a level where they can comfortably fly maybe Dreadnoughts and carriers and can actually afford to lose them, right? Not talking about all the rich guys in the game. Just like the regular pilot, like those guys that actually buy their Omega with ISK and farm for it, right? So, and then super carriers on a whole different level, and then you want to bring in Titans. I don't know what this should look like, honestly. I'm very, very concerned with that move, to be fair.
To bring in Titans, you mean?
Yes.
Hmm.
I think Titans should not be in EVE Echoes for at least another year.
Wow, another year. So you want to have? I mean, if you do that though, you would have super carriers all over the place with a very difficult. I mean, what do you answer that with? If you've got a super carrier fleet sitting in front of you, or you got a fleet period sitting in front of you, and there's 15 supers in it, the only thing you can answer that with is having 15 in your own.
Yeah,
but
having more supers.
Yeah.
That in end of the day, that's what it comes down to in Echoes, and what it always was. Like it was
Sure.
the same thing when Dreadnoughts came out. Like you could fight Dreadnought fleets with bigger Dreadnought fleets, right? So it's not necessarily the same thing with supers. There are other ways to fight super carriers. At least in EVE Online, you can comfortably fight them with other caps. But like Titans, I think is a whole different ballgame, and I'm very afraid of how NetEase is going to implement that.
Yeah.
Because I think they did a very poor job with the super carriers, honestly speaking. Like in EVE Online, you cannot kill a Dreadnought with a super carrier in like 2 seconds. In EVE Echoes, no big deal.
Yeah, most dreads pop pretty damn fast. And you don't have to have a glass cannon fit super.
If you drop 500,000 DPS on them, right? Well, obviously they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing supers literally delete dreads right off the field in seconds. Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, I can speak to that out of personal experience. It's like I believe my villain kill mail has been shared often enough. So, funny thing, so that villain had probably like 6-7 million EHP, had like 2 plates on, DCU on. Still, that Wyvern took me out in like 20 seconds, something like that. It was nothing I could do.
Wow.
Couldn't even kill a heavy squadron in that time. I tried. Wasn't going well. I mean, I knew from the moment I jumped that gate that this was going down. But yeah, it's what it is. But yeah, I understand why some people are a little bit frustrated with the direction this is going. Like, I've nothing against bigger ships and stuff like that, but implement it at the right time and balance it out a little bit smoother. Like, super carriers, don't make them overpowered like that. There's no point.
So you'd be for nerfing them a little bit. And do you mean nerfing, and as far as nerfing, do you mean by the DPS?
I mean, there's several ways how you can do that, right? It's like you could, for example, limit the range of the super carriers a little bit. You could nerf the bombard a little bit, or just make it a little bit different, that the application of the bombard is different from heavy to light fighters. Like, for example, the bombard only counts for 50% of the value it counts for on light fighters, for the heavies. Like, there's different things you could play around with. Obviously, I'm not a game developer, so it's a balancing issue that they need to figure out. But I believe where we are right now is not the greatest shape. I mean, if you disagree, I'm happy to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah, I kind of do. And that's kind of why I think Titans don't need to be delayed a whole nother year. I think Titans, if they do come out in October, November timeframe, which is what we've been told so far by the devs. I don't know, Rambo, did we get any kind of other update? I think they just
not an official.
Yeah, nothing official.
I didn't even see where they said it was delayed. So,
yeah, it's
there's
kind
that.
Of who knows.
Granted, though, I don't know why they thought that. Just to interject just a little bit, 3 years for this game, for how old it is, they thought it was a good time to bring in Titans. That is super quick compared to EVE Online to who knows when it was implemented into that game, when they finally decided, okay, we need a bigger ship. There's always a bigger ship. So I don't know, maybe in their eyes they think that the game is progressing, well, and they figure that now is the time that, okay, we're just going to give everybody this ship and let them play with it around.
Yeah, and I think at this point, you've already introduced supers. You should introduce Titans as well.
I mean, it's the same time frame, right? If you think about it, if I'm not mistaken, like EVE Online started in 2003, and I believe the first Titan was in 2006. So
yeah,
it kind of adds up in terms of the timeline, but that's what I'm trying to say is, like, with all the ships being so expensive, like capital ships in EVE Echoes compared to EVE Online, they were obviously more expensive back then, but not on a scale as it is in Echoes. So I think the community needs a longer time to adapt to those bigger ships than they needed in EVE Online, is my belief.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, they've rolled too much stuff out too fast. And I think that speaks back to the issue that we have with the IP for faction frigs and the Navy issues, because the materials that are needed there aren't really seeded in the market, so therefore their cost is really out of whack.
Yeah.
And I fear the same thing will happen with Titans, honestly. If any of the components you need take components from Cobalt Edge, then we could be looking at a very difficult uphill battle to get Titans built. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to juxtaposition both of those things. I just know that we're already here. It's too late. Supers are here, so don't wait a year on Titans. I think you're better off putting them in now, since you're already here with the supers.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll get to this question since I've seen Nespel post it like literally everywhere. Are they going for more ships early to get as much real money transactions than they can to wait for longevity? So yeah, are they really trying to milk the player base for this type of content before, I guess, the game goes downhill?
When did they not?
Yeah. I think EVE Echoes is the same with EVE Online from the standpoint of this community just wants to constantly say it's dying.
It's not wrong.
No,
I mean, I wish they had implemented a different insurance system. I still believe the EVE Online insurance system is splendid, where you can actually choose how well you want to insure your ship.
Yep.
Like, you want to just go for bronze, or you want to go all the way for platinum insurance and stuff like that.
It's
and it makes
timed,
it
isn't
also
it?
a lot easier.
It's timed, isn't it? So when you buy insurance, you're only getting it for so many days. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to constantly buy it.
Yeah.
You have to constantly buy it, but that also, yeah. I mean, obviously, like when you fly out your expensive ships, you check insurance. But usually, I believe it's like 30 days or something like that.
Right, that's what I remember. It was 30 days, yep. I do like that model much, much better. I just don't think we're going to get it. I think they're afraid to break away from their current model they have now. But we'll see. We'll see. So what does, with the leadership of BRRR, what do you think the future holds for BRRR? You guys just recently blued AOA again, is that correct?
We were never not blue.
Oh, okay. I thought for a period that you were. So, okay.
No, basically what it is, like in terms of diplomatic standings, like we have some parts of AOA gray, usually, just to enable PvP options for our +8s, because they usually can't really, or don't really find a lot of PvP outside of the AOA community, and that's why we have like 2 alliances in AOA gray to kind of fight them more often than not, honestly. But yeah, that's worked out well so far. It's not necessarily always friendly PvP, I want to add.
Well, the whole GTL incident happened with
that's a thing.
was it them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so Levy and I were like fiddling around with the Navy Raven fittings a little bit. We just noticed that if you do like a high level warhead charge on a Navy Raven with torpedoes, you can just blow up carriers like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
That's exactly what we ended up doing, and some people were not necessarily pleased with that. And I think for some it was rather embarrassing to lose a carrier to a solo Navy Raven, and that's when that whole incident with the autoban script happened. But yeah, I believe it has been discussed fairly detailed on the public Evacos Discord. And
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, like the devs pretty much said that there is an autoban script in place, and they have recently increased the number of reports it needs to trigger. But I don't necessarily think. I mean, that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, right?
Yeah. I mean, certain level of automation has to be in play for what they're doing. You just don't have. I can't think of very many organizations that would have the bandwidth to be able to really cover that without it being somewhat automated.
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually never salty in PvP, honestly, so it never really crossed my mind that I would want to report somebody that recently killed me to get them banned, but apparently there are some people in the game who would go to those lengths.
For sure. That's all I'll say about that. For sure.
They look at it as, it's a tool, it's in the game, I can use it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's probably what they think.
Any tool in their arsenal to get a leg up. You bet.
Yeah. Also never scammed anybody in EVE Online, but it's still fairly common. So yeah, it's just not for me.
Yeah. I think it's part of the game, and I think the more open it is, the more open architecture you have in a game like that, the more variety of those kinds of play styles you have, and that's just part of what it is. It makes it more flavorful. So I'm good with it. I've never really scammed anybody either because I just don't care. But doesn't mean I'm above it.
I can't say the same because this show is a scam.
Merger King talking there.
Scamming me out of my sleep is what that is.
That's exactly what we're doing. Scamming you out of your sleep. Yeah.
Citadel under attack.
Yeah. Well, I told you we'd have you on for about 30 minutes or so. I don't know how far we've gotten past that. Probably a ways past that. I'm not really watching the timer, but maybe a lot longer. So is there anything else you want to talk about, talk to the audience about while we have you here?
Not particularly. Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But other than that, not really any talking points.
Okay, excellent. We'll open up a couple questions real quick for Dor before we let him go. It's very, very late, very, very early in the morning for him. So we'll just wait a second, see if anybody's got questions.
Yeah.
Other than Bradrick.
Other than Bradrick.
Other than Bradrick.
We've already answered
Pineapple. Pineapple or pepperoni?
Oh, God.
Great.
Like on a pizza?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know. Maybe on your Corona.
So actually, in Germany, it's quite common to have like in Germany, it's called like pizza Hawaii, right? That has like pineapple and ham on it. That's actually like in every pizza place you can buy that, so it's fairly common. I'm not a big fan, and I'm also not a big fan of pepperoni, so I usually go salami and feta.
There you go.
That sounds pretty good.
Very nice.
That sounds pretty good.
Oh, it is. You should try it.
Oddly enough, I had one of the best pizzas I've ever had in my life in Ravensburg when I was in Germany about a year and a half ago now. And it was in just a regular old German restaurant right down from the hotel, but on the lower level, they had an Italian that was working there that was making the pizzas. And, oh, man, that was fantastic. So it was in a German bar
know
pub.
our food for sure.
Yeah. So
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, it was great.
And wasn't that girl hitting on you or something, or you were hitting on her?
That was when I got lost in Lindau.
In the store.
Yes,
Yeah.
I got I got lost in Lindau. Well, I couldn't get the car out of the parking lot because I didn't have any euros on me, and I thought I could just use a card to like buy the tag thing or whatever to get out of the parking lot, but I couldn't. And so I literally walked for like 6 minutes north of this parking lot in Lindau to get to this grocery store. And the girl in there was just trolling me hard, and I had no idea what the hell she was saying. I'm just speaking English like I am right now. She's speaking full German, but she could speak English the whole time, and she was just trolling my ass. It was hilarious. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. I didn't see any other questions for you, Doro. And thank you for joining with us tonight and talking. I know it's
Sure,
Yeah.
my pleasure.
Thanks for your time, man. Really
we
appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And anytime you ever want to come on, or if you got something going on that you want to let us know, anytime, man. Anytime.
Yep. Happy to have you.
Sure. Thank you. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks. You too, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yep. Okay.
Very nice.
That was good. That was
I
a great
got it.
interview. That was good talk. What's good for
Dun,
Oktoberfest?
dun, dun. What's good for Oktoberfest?
Sleep before fleeting, says Bradrick. Yeah.
It's great to have people from, EU time zones. Like, we had Benzi on at the time. He lived in Africa, and he woke up really early to come on the show, as well as,
5 a.m. or
some
something.
other people in EU. Yeah. So it's just great to have that, because we don't have that.
No, we
9
don't.
times out of 10, it's mostly a United States, time zone crowd that we're usually talking to, and so it's
Yep.
great to have that. So cool. Yeah. Anytime anybody wants to come on, we'll unmute you. That's no problem at all. So shall we get into the show? I know we have a lot of other stuff to talk about as far as game news and stuff.
An hour into it.
Yeah, on my time we have 49 minutes, and that was with a 13-minute before the show pre-recording that I already had.
So I got the 30 minutes
So,
down pretty
not
good
bad.
then. I got the okay.
Yeah,
good.
not
I
bad.
told him 30 minutes at most. I was trying to be respectful of his time. I know it's late. So
Yeah.
and
All right.
I was going to ask him all kinds of questions about how many super carriers do you guys have, where they staged at, what tunes fly. I'm not
Right. What's the name of your carrier pilots again? I just got the cross-reference to my list here.
one more than you. I don't think so. Chips 45 bullshit.
45.
Chips Deluxe says
Hey.
45.
Judging by the voyage ceremony, that's not the case.
If those are people's
He
actual
almost-
ships, I'm sorry, I almost spit my propel out. If those are people's actual ships from that thing, oh my god, I was dying laughing at some
Right.
of those. Voyage
Yeah.
schmoyage, exactly, Chips. Holy shit.
We'll talk about it. Okay, I'm going through the announcements here. And basically the announcements were about the voyage ceremony. They did a countdown, by the days. Only 3 days, 1 day. And then they had the live stream for the voyage ceremony live.
Yep.
From what I heard, it was 2.5 hours long. About what do you think? Did you get to catch it at all?
I caught a little bit of it. It was right in the middle of my work day. It was kind of boring, and it was just kind of on in the background for maybe 30, 40 minutes, and then I had to kind of move on. I mean, it was interesting in a few times to be able to see who was flying what, but it was also interesting to see there was a couple of corporations that came out with like just 3 ships. Maybe there's just one at the end. Towards the end, maybe.
Yeah, basically, I watched the ceremony during my lunch break, and I was able to see my corp fly in the parade, and maybe a couple corps afterwards, and then I had to click off of it. I tried listening to it, but because I'm all over the place, I ended up losing Wi-Fi, and then it paused, and it's just like, because I had my earbuds in, I'm listening to it, and I actually didn't even notice that it was like that it stopped. And then it was like an hour later, I'm like, oh, the stream stopped. And it's like because I lost cellular. I don't have good cellular at my work, and Wi-Fi, of course, has a range. So I've been meaning to get back to it and kind of watch the highlights, but That's basically it. I didn't get to see any sort of news or hints or anything that they released.
No, I didn't either.
Well.
I hope all the pilots that took place, that were flying in it had a good time. I mean, they're just kind of sitting there watching from inside their ship, I suppose. But
Well, I think that was pre-recorded from the first freaking rehearsal. It was pre-recorded. It was either pre-recorded or they animated because the second rehearsal flopped, and they animated ships in there.
and you weren't really there, were you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, my corp was like, you could see the fleet pattern of my corp, and I'm still trying to find the person who has the hell. So yeah, it's kind of curious as to what was actually implemented into the parade, because yes, I had a formation. I did see majority of the ships, but then there's other ships there that I remember not putting in there, and so I'm pretty curious as to how and why that happened, but I'm pretty sure that they had animated some stuff in there. And of course we saw that because they did like angles and views of like a lot of ships, a lot of capitals had the Starbeat nanocore on it, and so then it was like, ooh, check out this revelation with a Starbeat on it, there's a lot of that type of stuff. But during the event they had given away some gift codes. Now actually during the live stream they did, when I was watching it, I did see these. And Taylor, you want to pull up those gift codes for the stream?
I am, yep.
And so
if you haven't
as soon
done
as I
these
see
yet,
them, I'll read them.
Yeah. That should be up in a second.
Yeah, so wait for the delay.
I thought I had checked on something yeah, it's there. I'm showing it's there.
Dun, da, dun, da, 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 dun, da, dun.
You're even more delayed than it's showing on my back end because it's been there for a while.
There it is. Okay. So, gift codes. Spectacular, magnificent, inspiring. Those are all worth 80,000 SP each. That's per character. You can use that. So that's very nice. And as well as I've seen some of the content creator codes get released once again as well. So all the content creators, if you haven't tried it or have done those special codes, each content creator has their own special code. For instance, mine is Silent Rambo, all lowercase. You can use it up to 5 times, or you can use Taylor Ricks upwards of 5 times. I think yours is what, just Taylor Rick?
Taylor Rick, that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. You could use it 5 times, but if you use mine 5 times, then you won't be able to use Taylor's, and vice versa. Or if people used Gengar's, I seen Gengar's passed around. If they used his code, they're not going to be able to use my code, and so on and so forth. So
this is how they made the power rankings for our happy anniversary video. More people
that's funny.
More people must have used my code than they used yours.
I don't understand how more people would have used Damon's though.
I don't get that
over
either.
Ours.
I don't get that either.
Because Damon didn't share his until like a full 24 hours later.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. That was it with the voyage ceremony, and they did fix the content creator video. They did fix virtual person's name, and they did fix Be Nice's name into what their proper names were.
I still think that was a Freudian slip.
and pull up the congratulations.
I did.
I literally have congratulations as the freaking script. I saw someone say, well, that's how he says it. He says congratulations. He says it with a G and not a T.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, that's pretty funny.
Yep.
And I did look back at my script in which I sent them, and I sent them the incorrect spelling of it because I just used a notepad.
Of course you did.
Of course.
You can't pronounce it right.
So, Rip.
And you can't spell it right.
I
either.
can't pronounce it right. I can't spell it right, obviously. Congratulations. That's how I say it. I guess when I was spelling it out, I was saying it. Yeah, whatever. Congratulations. So that was one of the highlights of that as well.
That's just hilarious.
Some of the spelling mistakes that made it through, yeah.
Yep.
But anywho, I want to look back at that voyage ceremony, and supposedly the flags are already up in Jeddah. I haven't been to see that, or the banners, I mean, but
yeah,
I just don't know yet.
I wish I could say out of the probably 5 million times I've been to Jeddah since last year, and they put up that ceremonial whatever the hell they put up in Jeddah. I wish I could say that I've gone and seen it one time, and I haven't.
I've seen it one time.
I haven't seen it at all. That was it. Not once. I don't know what it looks like.
Well, that's the thing is I was trying to remember going to that monument in Jeddah, because I think you could warp to it from you could warp to it anywhere, but you could warp. It's right off of, what is it, Planet 4 or whatever, where the ITC is. And yeah, it's off in the distance where the IT, yeah. And you could see it there. The thing is I think when you go there, you only see the banners. You don't even see the corpse that they go to. It's something weird like that. Yeah, it's something weird like that.
Interesting.
That is it for announcements. We can get into the Q&A.
All right, we are into the Weekler Developer Q&A for 822 to 828. Let's go. For AI mode, more AI shit. For AI mode, can we make orbit options?
You got to live with it.
Yeah, such as orbital, custom distance, or off, since it causes some ships to be useless currently because it has optimal range orbit as it is default mode. Okay, Cloud comes back and says, thank you for your suggestion on optional AI orbit distances. We will continue to update AI mode to make it more efficient. Okay, so...
Yep, we noted this last time.
Yeah.
This is going to be a thing. They're going to optimize it some more. We know that they're working on it. And the auto orbit function of that is my most hated feature for it. Absolutely hate it.
And that's auto orbit of your ship. I was thinking about this the other day. I guess I'll get into this conversation later, but I couldn't figure out how to get the orbit of the drones changed. And I've never really had to mess with that until recently. So I guess I need to go back and look at that because I have no clue how to do that. Anyway, next one.
They have to be in your bay, your cargo bay, in order for it to change. Try it out. Yeah, you have to play with it around.
I'm pretty sure I had them in my bay when I was trying it. Maybe it was just me being stupid. I might have been drunk one night. Who knows? Hi, devs. Can we please add a new implant that increases jump range, etc. of capital ships, please? It would mean that caps can jump further and would have to make a choice over increased range or increased DPS from the implants. Thank you. Cloud comes back and says, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. We are gradually adding more types of implants, and mobility-focused implants are one of the popular proposals. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do have nanocores that increase jump range. I don't see why we wouldn't have implants doing the same kind of thing.
Although those nanocores are only for jump freighters,
they are. Right? I know a jump freighter pilot who can go 11 light years.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
it's
shit.
a beautiful thing.
That's a gorgeous thing. And obviously, super carriers can go farther than your normal carrier dreadnought, but not quite that far. So,
yeah,
it's interesting.
Well, I could see an implant being added just for an exploration type of implant being implemented.
It's for the carrier exploratory ship.
Yeah,
capital
our
exploratory
SOE carrier that we're going to be seeing. Yeah.
Which isn't real. I mean, anyway.
You never know.
I don't think anybody uses a Nestor for exploration. I think they're using it for PvP. There's a Logi. That's where it's getting used, right? So I'd want capital Logi outside of a fax. It'd be, interesting. I don't know. Anyway. All right, next one. Would you like to implement the idea of add a private security box at one chosen station? You can add it as an Omega option, and players pay a monthly fee. We can use it to store items that we don't want to sell or reprocess by mistake and have them on hand easily. Thank you. So he's talking about containers. But he's actually throwing out the idea to make people pay for it, or it's an Omega only thing. God. I want containers, and I want them to be for everybody. Alpha, Omega, doesn't matter. I don't want people to have to pay for them other than what they have to pay to have a indie guy build one.
Well, I think he's more going toward the safe box. Granted, yes, this could be a container feature, but I think he's going for a safe box. Say it be in an NPC station, and if you go to that box, say you put something in it, you cannot destroy an item that's in that box. You cannot destroy a ship that's in that box, and so on. So there's things that maybe people accidentally delete or destroy or reprocess that they don't want reprocessed, and so then they put it in this safe box, and I guess use it in that way, I guess, and they could pull out or whatever whenever they want. Though it doesn't necessarily say this person just says security box at one chosen station. That definitely will not be a player-owned station, and definitely will not be a corporation outpost. It's got to be an NPC station, so it would never be destroyed safe box at all.
If you put something into a hangar of your ship, can you still see? I don't know. Can you hit destroy or reprocess when it's in the ship hold? I don't think you can.
Honestly, I haven't. I think I'm trying to think back to like the miners, like when you take ore and you hit select all, does it only give you the move to option, or does it give you the option to reprocess it also in your hull?
Can't reprocess and can't destroy anything that's in your cargo hold. So this gentleman here wants a safe box. Go build a high-sec freighter. Cloud comes back and says, we're actually working on developing this feature, but it's going to take some time because it involves a lot of different systems and testings. We don't have an exact timeline for when it will be available, but we'll definitely keep you posted on any updates. And I hope he means that about the safe box idea as opposed to containers, because if they leave us out to dry with containers for the rest of this year, I'm going to have words.
Yeah, I think he's implementing... I think he's leaning toward the idea of containers. So...
God damn it. I want containers like now. Back in April. Or how about corpse sizes, right? I mean, God, that's killing me. Kills me every day. All right, next question. Love the new Navy frigates. And are there any plans to add more frigate-only content or update existing content, i.e. faction war games, which absolutely blows, to make use of these ships? Cloud comes back and says, hey, we're glad that you're digging the new Navy frigates. Our team is already looking into ways to add more frigate stuff. We hear you, and we'll definitely keep you posted as things progress. All right, that's good. That's good. Not sure how to take that, but that's good.
We're glad you're digging them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're digging the new ships.
Yep.
We hear you.
Add more frigate stuff.
They most likely will. I think with the whole small ship content addition that they implemented, being battleships and whatnot, kind of pissed off a lot of people. And so they're expecting more frigate type stuff. And this next question will kind of hint as to what else we may see down the road. But they do plan on... We know that they're going to be putting in more small ship stuff. So it's a wait and see.
Yeah.
Be patient, I guess.
I suppose so. Next question. Hello, devs. When will you bring covert ops cloaks to mining ships? The Venture series of ships need some love for those that enjoy that ship. Another suggestion is to add a third mid-slot and scanning bonuses to the Venture 3 and 4. Doing this will give more reason to fly that ship and also to clear out the vast amount of nihilist space in New Eden. Thank you for your time. Cloud comes back and says the Venture 1 through 4 models are basic versions and do not have the Covert Ops Cloak feature, but it is possible that advanced modules in the future may utilize this technology. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I for one would love to
Advan-
see like a Venture 5 with a covert ops cloak on it, 100,000 meters cubed in the hold, and it's also immune to bubbles. I'm kidding. Yeah,
Yeah. The Venture, we're going to be seeing the Venture Interceptor and the Venture Covert Ops.
all in
Yeah.
one, right? What if there
Though,
was
you know,
what if there was a covert ops interceptor?
yikes.
Ouch.
You know? Yeah. That's very yikes. I mean, you could get anywhere in New Eden without even being seen, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you know, I like covert ops Venture. I don't really know like if a Venture 5 is necessarily needed. Venture 4 has a 30,000 M3 ore hold on it. I mean, that's pretty good. That's more than what? Is that more than that's more than a retriever for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
not
is.
a Covetor 1. Or
It's
maybe
on
it is more than a
par
Covetor 1.
I think is a Procure 24,000, I forget.
It's somewhere around there,
Kev
but
1
anyway,
seems like a little more,
but just the maneuverability of it being a frigate and having that cargo hold and the ability to, you know, maybe do give it some scanning bonuses for the mining nihilist dead spaces that are out there, and you know, so you're not having to do freaking 17 trips to mine 17 rocks. You know what I mean? So could be a thing. It's most likely going to be a thing. So
yeah.
yeah.
That is it on the Q&A. Yep, that's both.
Patch
Q&As.
notes.
Let's see. Let's go over to the patch notes. I'm going through all of these. Holy cow! Holy cow! Holy cow! Holy cow! I don't have the patch notes pulled up.
829. They did the patch notes.
Yep. I don't have them pulled up. Give me a second. I'll go read them. Here we go. Here we go. Of course, they don't put them in the patch notes section. Yes, they did. 8:30. Here we are. They're not going to be on the screen, but I'll just read through them real quick. I won't do the 1 hour read through like I did a few weeks back. Dear Pilots 830 maintenance. New event Nanocore Collection guaranteed reward rotation. This is very cool. The guaranteed reward for Nanocore Collection has been updated. Opening up to 60 times will grant you a Thermogenic Storm and Ascension Battleship Nanocore option box. This is how I got the Thermogenic Core for my Raven Navy issue, which is
thermomagnetic.
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 Okay.
Did I say it wrong?
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you said it hella wrong.
Whatever. Thermomagnetic. Sorry, Kojira. Nah, it's overpowered. You get 2 damage right off the bat. Yeah, exactly. Go drink. I need to drink some more. It's awesome. I love it for the Raven Navy issue, which is definitely you can go one of 2 ways with that ship. You can either go with where it's all DPS and it's putting out a hell of an alpha, or you can go tank, and I'm working on a way to try to redo my fit to get it over almost 1 million estimated hit points on the tank. It's a tanky-ass battleship. New arrivals at the Trailblazers. Oh, that is, by the way, the box. That's 60, by the way, is the box. When you go into on the Concord screen itself, and then you go one down below that. Like, you can buy these keys for these boxes from the Concord store for like 1,000 Concord points. It's that one right below that you open up those. It cycles every time you hit 60. So you hit 60, you cycle again. As soon as you buy another 60 of them, or open another 60 of them with your keys, then you get this guaranteed type of core to choose from. So that's the one. It's not the one that's over in the main store. There's 2 different boxes, 2 different sets of keys. It's not those Trailblazer ones you buy. It's different. So new arrivals in the Trailblazer store. Sleeper Series Nanocores with Sleeper Mode return for a limited time. So those are back. Sleeper Mode, when enabled as a capacitor recharge time goes down 75%. If any of you remember that video that Damon Zell put out where he was able to have he hit that button and his cap just went right back up. It was like almost no time at all. I remember that one very vividly. All damage resistances goes plus 50%. Damage, go ahead.
Damon Zell releases videos when?
I know. It's a
I
long
don't
time
remember.
ago. I know. This is back when he was actually active. But I remember that one. I
Rip.
think he was in a Dramiel or something. Or I forget what he was in. But he was in a Frig when he tested it out.
Hmm.
So, lasts for 30 seconds with a 300-second cooldown. Shield recharge and armor repair goes down negative 25%. It's definitely an excellent core to help you with your cap situations. Inscription of the Galaxy Strife. Season finale rankings are up, and we have those rankings. I'll put those up on the screen. Let's see. I can get rid of this. I can get rid of this. There they are.
Yeah. Corporation class contest.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
go back
he's
to that in a
pulling up
second.
that screen.
Inscription of the Galaxy Project. Capital Kill Mail Top 20. X was number 1. Dormant Realm Leaderboard Top 20. Mask was number 1, which is Mark Scarron. Isn't that... he's a CC. That's
Yeah.
the CC guy. Isn't he the one who... I think the first time I ever watched him was when he put out one on the a video on the Procure. And everybody was copying his Procure fit when Procures first hit.
I don't know. All I know is that dude's got like 40 alts.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe more. Like the entire corp minus Jubileus is all alts. But yeah, one thing I wanted to note with the Capital KM Top 20, this goes for not only capital kills, but capital losses as well. So a few of these, like the top 3, I know for sure are for cap kills. Now the next 3 were for cap losses. That's the only reason why they're on that board.
I don't know.
Yes.
Trog is probably there
And-
for both reasons.
No, number 4 was because of number 2, and maybe with help of number 1. Let's. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. That was for both, because the losses gave you a point value, and the kills gave you a point value. So, yeah, and with Trog being number 3, I guess that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
They do a lot of yeeting, do a lot of killing too.
Oh boy, today was no exception. All right.
I wonder if I made top 20 on the Dormant Realm thing. I know I was hanging right around top 20. It's kind of one of those things where I don't even care to even look.
Yeah. I don't-
I mean, I probably could, but yeah, it is what it is. Dormant Realm. Ooh, you're good at PvE. Cool. Okay.
yeah. I mean, it is hard to get up in those top echelons for that. You got to have a specialized fit. Guys work hard at that, so I don't want to belittle it, but
Yeah.
I don't
well,
look at these things. I don't look at these rankings.
We
so.
looked at trying to place on this leaderboard. I remember back in those days, and we're reading the like the info as to how you gain points. We're thinking about carrying people. Well, then there's people with like 40 billion ISK nightmares out there
Mm-hmm.
that are like, well, are you going to put up your 40 billion ISK nightmare to do carries? You know, for free or whatever for court member. I think that commitment was kind of a
Yeah.
they weren't really, it wasn't worth it type of thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
wasn't worth it type of
Didn't meet
thing.
the threshold of the risk versus reward.
Mm-hmm. Which rewards still have to go out. I'm still waiting for. It's probably been what 40 days since I submitted my corporation logo and banner. Still haven't got it yet.
Well,
So.
40 days since you submitted it, that's not bad. 40 days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you get to the 3-month mark since you submitted it with no word, that's kind of bad. 40 days isn't so bad. It's just over a month.
Yeah.
So
And I've probably reminded Carrie like
poor-
7 times.
That poor woman. Speaking of rewards, Corporation Class Contest rewards were distributed. I got the image pulled up there.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yeah, so this was a screenshot from my mailbox, Corporation Clash Contest Reward Distribution, and so those rewards had gone out, and these rewards happened right as soon as like Inscription of the Galaxy Conquest ended. It was right about the same time when T4 Citadels came out, is when this happened, and because I participated in it, I got a medal. and I did notice that some people were selling their metals. Notice in my mail, I don't have that option. I don't have a code to be able to give away. But I guess it's only the top 3 corporations that got, obviously their rewards. So there's like Sciences given out to those pilots, and then the medals, and then whatever else. And one thing that's unique to this is not everybody in the corp got it. Only the people that participated in Corp Clash got the medal. Or the rewards, of course. Those that only participated in it. If they, say an alt or whatever wasn't in there, then of course they're not going to get it.
Interesting.
So
interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the,
that kinda
because
sucks.
I literally asked. I said, how many of y'all got this? I pinged my corp, and some did, some didn't. Yeah. It's one
I
of
mean, I
those
guess I kind of
things.
understand, but at the same time, it's like, no, I was wanting to earn that. If I was really going to go and do it and put myself into that, I would want to earn that for the entire corporation, not just the people that could participate. Because it's what, 30? Wasn't it maxed at 30?
Well, see, maybe because I didn't place in top 3. Maybe the top 3 prizes were a bit better. If anybody from FKG or CRB is in here, they could tell us. Who is it? FKG, CRB, and who was number 3?
X.
I don't remember. X. Yeah. If any of those members are in the audience tonight, they can let us know. But I do know that they were given additional codes, and I did see those people selling them too. Came with custom medals as well, with their
Okay.
corp logo on it. So,
All right.
yep, those rewards went out.
Covered that. Covered Q&A.
What else you got? What else you got up?
I got the screenshot of the Tristan Navy issue with the minimum compensation
yes.
price, 7,248.21 IP for a Tristan Navy issue.
Yeah. So what the heck happened to these faction ships after the whatever the update did broke it? Because now these things are worth 7,000
Well,
IP.
It's not that the update broke it, okay? It's that the estimated market price of the materials used to make it when they were first launched was set at NetEase's baseline of what they feel like the value of those things should be. Now that they started selling on the market between then and this latest update, there are things that stuff was finally selling on the market, it updated it and put and then it was able to, that's currently what it would cost to build one of these things, is basically what we're getting at. If you were to buy everything off the market right now and build it from scratch, it would cost you $16 billion, and the estimated market price, right? That's why it's screwed up. And that's what I was getting at before when we were talking to Dora, is the market hasn't had time to adjust with these materials yet to be able to make this a viable ship. And it's the same thing with the Navy issues on the
Small
battleship
ship content, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wanted small ship content. We have small ship content, and it was implemented correctly from the standpoint of what it costs. It's just that the market hasn't been able to catch up yet.
Yeah, and we're looking at the screenshot where this estimated market. This is a Tristan Navy issue worth estimated market price $15.9 billion, with a minimum compensation of 7,200 insurance points. That's freaking crazy.
It is.
Then let's see. Let me grab the other one as well. What was this one for? I think this one was for a APOC Navy issue. Estimated market price $37.1 billion. Minimum compensation 16,882 IP for an ANI.
Yep.
Good thing I didn't lose my Raven before this, and then rip.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah. I wonder how much that thing's inflated to. I don't
think
want
it's
still
look.
in the box.
I don't want to look. I think when I lost mine right before this update, it was 7,000 IP. I don't want to look now.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This Tristan came from one of my better PvPers, let's just say, and it wouldn't surprise me if there were X types on there. Would not surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
For sure it has B types.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's a good
Okay.
question. We don't know what the fit of this thing is to see how crazy that is, but I know they're inflated.
Yeah. I think even then that may just be the hole. Like hole only.
Yeah, maybe.
Not even fit.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Next
And then-
one is our. We haven't done commercial break or anything. We got suggestions, and then we've got this player count thing to go over from that website. That's the last.
Shall we
two things.
do suggestions? And we do have a couple more things to go over, like the Photoshop kill mail,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
player count, stuff
Yep.
like that.
Well, yeah. That's the
Let's do commercial break real quick, and then when we come back, we'll get to consider your suggestion and this other stuff that we're going. Man, we've already been going on hour 22.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
At New Eden Black Market, we don't just sell random stuff. We sell New Eden. Mods, ships, faction, or just getting together with some old friends. It's a market where every player knows your name and encourages shoot on sight. It's a parade into nullsec with PvPers cheering as their courtmates industry get outsourced to botting alliances to have their ships built. It's a slow motion shot of your courtmates ratting in space, ignoring dead nullsec and getting ganked by some random pirate corp, just as you watch them die in the latest server war. Your future burns bright, especially if you have enough plex to maintain insurance costs while your courtmates quit the game for expensive losses. We know New Eden is hurting. We're in this together, which is why we want some people to quit the game, for the better. New Eden Black Market. We will sell you anything.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a trader. To me, being a trader was better than being executor of an alliance. Even before I went to the Discord for a side hustle contract, I knew I wanted to be a part of them. It was there that I knew I belonged. To me, it meant being somebody in a galaxy full of nobodies. They weren't like anybody else. They sold whatever they wanted. They sat in stations and never got a complaint. When they make contracts all night, nobody ever reports them. This is why I do my trading at the New Eden Black Market. You can sell or trade anything, like materials, ship debris, modules, entire ships, rigs, implants, capitals, structures, blueprints, skill chips, have items auctioned, gift code items, buy intel, and some other things I can't even mention. You can hire mercs, hire an FC, or even get carried in Dormant Realm for a small cost. You can put bounties on players or structures, as well as claim bounties. VIP members get special discounts too. Join today and mention that Rambo is better than Taylor for VIP access. You too can become a trader. Join New Eden Black Market Discord today. Ask Rambo for the link.
And there you go. Yeah, that was a
Excellent.
shout out to New Eden Black Market.
New
There you
bleeding.
go.
New
Go
bleeding.
there.
New bleeding
Yes.
ack market.
New. Go there for all your needs.
With the
Yes,
shadow
and
broker.
remember that line to get VIP access. By the way, remember that.
Yep.
So drink. Okay.
And I don't have
Then
a corporation ad this week. So if you want to advertise for your corporation and have me read it live on the air for next week, send those in. You can contact Rambo or myself, either way, and I will read them.
yeah.
And there you go.
And actually, I was thinking, I wanted to plug that as well as, we need more commercials, more newer stuff. So people that are wanting to recruit or their personal businesses or anything that, maybe just for jokes or something, they can always submit material that we could play during our commercial break. So, or I can make one too. I can't have enough projects, I guess you could say. So, of
You
course,
need
New Eden
another
Black
one, right?
Market, they had reached out to me to make an ad for them, so
Yeah.
that I did. And we'll probably be playing that for a while.
Good.
So yeah, but granted, corporations that are recruiting, that's an easy one. Just send me your ad, I'll play it at no cost even. So
Yeah, or just read it. You don't even have to record an audio. If you just have something you want us to read, we'll do that too. And Rambo will screw it up, and I'll screw it up, and it'll be funny.
yes. yes. Okay. And then how about we get into consider your suggestion?
All right.
It's time to consider your suggestion. Consider your suggestion. Oh, yes. I look forward to this part of the show pretty much every time now. And I will go to the suggestions list. But first, I'm going to go over the ones that were sent to me here. Okay. Yes. We have some here. Some good suggestions. Yeah, this one. This was from is
Frame.
it F Rame or
It's
just
Frame.
Frame?
It's Frame. It's just
Is it
Frame.
Frame. Okay. We need a function to disband the corporation. Please do it. Now there are many corporations with a beautiful ticker or name and one empty pilot. This is very annoying. Yeah. Why don't we have the option to disband corporations?
Yeah.
It should just be a thing.
Yep. It's so easy.
And it should be a thing too. I think Xbox, PlayStation, I think they do this every once in a while, is they will purge usernames after a certain amount of inactivity. So those usernames are available to people that may want them. So this could be in the same, with the whole ticker thing. Get rid of the corp. That pilot hasn't been online in 1,000 days. I'm sure they could see something like that. And just purge the character. Granted, what if that character comes back? That character's got 70 billion ISK on them. I don't know. There could be bad thing too if they were to purge a character like that. But then at the same time, they could probably contact customer support, maybe get a notification saying your character was deleted due to inactivity. Maybe they can dispute that, maybe get their stuff back. I don't know.
You don't need to delete a character. You're just talking about deleting a corporation, right?
No, I know. I went into a tangent.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
being able to disband corporations would be something. Yeah. Then, say corporation mergers. One corp, disbands, merges into another corp. Now the previous corp has to have a character in that previous corp to hold the damn thing, knowing that it's going to be inactive.
But you can just delete that character after a while. Now you've got that alpha character out of there, and you can have another alpha character again do the same thing later on. So I mean, you're not really tying up the character unless you really want to tie up the character.
You can delete a character even though it's a CEO of a corporation?
Sure.
I haven't tried, so I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing.
Sure.
Okay.
It'll let you delete a character. Yeah. Now,
but the
on
corp
the flip
is
side,
still there, and the character is still there. Wait.
How
does that look? How does that look like? If you look up the corp, and you go to contact the whoever, then was it going to be like deleted user or something?
I don't know. I guess we got to try this and see. But I know you can delete it.
Okay.
So I don't know what happens after
interesting.
that, but I know you can delete it. So
okay.
Now the flip side of this is if you do have the ability to disband a corporation, but you also have a corporation that has assets, and you also can replace the CEO if they're not online for 21 days, right? And you can have a vote, right? You can have some shenanigans. This sounds like a goal, yeah. So you can have some shenanigans to not have your CEO log in for a while. Take that over, get all the assets, walk away, delete the corp, you're done.
Yeah.
So disband the corp, you're finished.
Yeah,
but,
very interesting.
Yeah.
But-
But
Will we see something like that someday? Maybe.
yeah, I mean they've got your login credentials tied in some way, whether that's X or whether that's Facebook or Google or Apple. So they've got a way to email you and tell you that your characters are
Mhm.
going to be deleted for activity, your corporation is going to be deleted for activity, whatever.
Maybe they'll call you. They have that info, right?
I remember calling one of my corp mates. Yeah.
All right. Next suggestion. Please implement a market API.
That's a simple ask.
There you go.
That's a simple ask. It only got
Right.
10 upvotes. Does it have more now?
At the time.
Yeah.
At the time. Let me go back. Suggestion. I'd have to. Man, there's some scrolling I'll have to do.
I don't even know when this is from. August 30th, I guess. Right there at the top of that. Well, that might have been someone pasted it into your. I don't know. Could have been from 3 days ago, but I don't know. I say during one of these times when we're doing your suggestion reviews, we should come up with our own suggestion and go put it over there and tell everybody listening to the show at this moment to go over there and upvote that suggestion. And
What if it's
anybody
a bad suggestion?
Well, let's make it a good suggestion and go and have people do that.
Okay,
like
so we have to brainstorm a good
a
suggestion.
good suggestion,
Okay.
and then go push everybody to go do it, and then see how long that gets upvoted
So-
from now until tomorrow when people listen to the podcast.
I did find that that post. Please implement a market API, and it has 36 upvotes right now.
See, that's criminal. That should have like 100.
Well,
But how
Don't
many
know.
people really
Here-
go and look at the suggestions page anyway? Because I don't.
right.
I
There
do
obviously there
sometimes,
are
but-
some people because there's a lot of stuff or a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
upvotes and downvotes and stuff. But often too, you do see the ones that say your court mate, made a suggestion and he shares the link and he says, "Hey, add everyone. Can you upvote this?" And then obviously people are like, "What is he talking about?" And then he clicks on it and it's like, "Okay, then yeah, he's got a point. I'll upvote it, whatever."
Yeah.
Or they downvote it. Here's one from Chernobyl Chuck. Could you guys look into adding exploration missions for Concord Pass? It's one of the only things not represented. Though I want to say that will be a thing someday. Was that a Q&A that I recall them saying for more exploration content for Concord? I know they got rid of the faction war games requirement for Concord, or those missions anyway.
I
But I
don't
don't
recall that. I'm
remember
trying to remember
exactly.
if I saw that in a Q&A somewhere or not. The only other thing I remember about about exploration that was interesting was that I know that the exploration inside of Cobalt Edge was supposed to be more difficult, more challenging. You have to have higher skilled, basically more lucrative looting. But I haven't heard anybody actually tell me that yet. Also, I remember having a conversation. God, this is a while ago. This is probably 6 months ago in Content Creator Chat on the main official Discord. Was that those T5 or that level 5 exploration boxes were actually a thing. People are saying they weren't, but they were. But they are actually a thing. They're just extremely rare. I don't know if that means that those are going to be more available in Cobalt Edge or not. But those are the only things about exploration that I've heard. And the stupid capital exploration shit. Yes, I know, Red. But
Yeah.
I don't recall them
You-
saying anything about Concord points for it.
Hmm.
X
As a mission.
number of Concord points for so many boxes open. That would be interesting. Or for scanning. Could you imagine?
Well, it could be successful attempts versus not.
Well, no, but I mean, like, what if you get like 5 Concord points every time you use a scanner? Whether you successfully scan something or not.
I mean,
10 Concord
5
points
isn't
every
that
time you
much,
use it.
but-
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like 10 Concord points every time you burn 5,000 plasmoids. I mean,
no, I would rank it more along the lines of like you actually find the site and you attempt to hack the boxes and it's got like 12 out of 12 attempts or something like that, and do an attempts counter and see if and see that rack up for some points. Yeah.
One of
Here's
our-
another suggestion.
Well, one of our sponsored CCs that's here in the chat right now just says he's got a video coming out where he's working on CE exploration. He's made an estimated $6 billion in the last week. So I look forward to watching that one, Muffin. Very much so.
I need ISK. I also need sponsors for game shows. Hint, hint. But,
yep.
So here's another suggestion here. It would be nice, and this is by Yeegs, it would be nice for Inscription of the Galaxy rewards to be issued out much quicker. As it stands, it takes like half a year to get rewards.
Yep.
Very true. Something's got to change there. Something has got to change. Allow toggle mods to keep cycling when warping. Okay, I don't know what you mean, but it got a lot of downvotes. Do you know what that person means?
No, I don't.
Need to find a salty one, man. I haven't had a salty one in a little bit. Of course, when I implement the segment of the show, then all the salty ones go away.
Of course, right? Yeah.
Okay, here you go. Hi, can we have a corp upgrade that eliminates small anoms? Just get more AI ratters. That takes care of this.
Yeah.
They're AFK anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we have it. I mean, if you're in an AI nanocore, if you're using that, you're most likely not hitting large anoms. Now, sometimes it will throw you into a large, but I think that's with either due to the amount of other players ratting and or the amount of anoms available. So say there are no small anoms, then obviously you're going to go to one of the other ones. But, yeah. Purple core at Concord shop for cap +++.
What?
That's what it was. Purple core at Concord shop for cap +++.
No, he wants purple cores for capitals in the Concord shop.
Through the Concord.
Yeah.
Okay.
So does everybody. Can you word that like a human?
I mean, put a 120,000 Concord point price tag on it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. It'll be, if they do it, they should put it very, very high, from the standpoint of it'll force more people to pay for the double layer, the double rewards on Concord, right? So I'm all for making that expensive. So that's fine.
Yeah. Here you go. You'll love this one. Kilroy. And maybe it's not the Kilroy that I know. It's a different one. Hello. Can we get AI mining, please? Please, 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 for the love of humanity, please give us faction strip miners. It has 27 upvotes.
They're in the, they've been in the market. You can see them on the market in their stats ever since the game launched. Anything above that. There's several of them, 3 or 4 at least, I think, off the top of my head. But
yeah, very interesting.
They don't drop anywhere. And I think if they were going to ever redo the Adventure 4s or come out with a new version of Adventure, that's when they should drop those extended miners like that. So for those ventures, that'd be good.
And last one, this was released today, a little bit ago actually. Soju, please remove weapon timer for activating the Mine Informant module. Remember when we discussed this?
Didn't they fix this?
Where no, it's still active.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like the devs, do they even play their own game? They're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You get a combat timer from the mining foreman?
I remember that, yeah.
That is still a thing, yes. It was never fixed even after that Q&A. Or whatever was brought up about it. I believe it was the Q&A, and they even stated that it was an oversight and they were going to fix it or something.
Yeah.
Nope, hasn't happened yet. But I would agree with that. I think the mining, comparing to, say, the Beaver mod, obviously that's going to have a timer on it.
Yeah.
But a mining foreman, whatever. Yep.
Tim, mining foreman, peak dangerous.
Yeah. Peak dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
hilarious.
and then so that'll conclude it for us consider your suggestion. So if anybody else has any suggestions that they would like me to cover, go over on the show. Otherwise, I just go randomly to the channel and I just pick some out. But so going on, check this out. I'm gonna post this in on-air chat. And I scroll down. There's a lot of. We have here some photoshopping of super kill mills. Look at this. Someone posted in the Moby and it got registered. It was a hell kill mill worth 1.2 trillion. Now in a screenshot from my scene, I can't see who it was, but
something Sakura.
They photoshopped. Yes, I think Sakura was the wannabe killer, Final Blow. And so some corp decided that they wanted to Photoshop onto this hell. And it turned out that it was this an SHH kill mill that got it?
Yeah, I scrolled down. You can
SHH
see it's the real kill mill is from FKG. Natasha got the kill at 2%, but what they did is they went in and overwrote the actual people on the kill and put in someone from DSWC Graceful with a final blow and I mean, if you just look at this for 2 seconds, it's blurry. Where it says final blow has some weird shit around it. I mean, it's just not even close to being crisp and clean compared to the actual kill mill. So now, granted, they did a good job of taking all of the whatever misses, the shots missing that were in the real kill mill. They did a good job of taking those out and smudging that around. But yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm scrolling up and down with it on YouTube, a blown up version of it on YouTube, so you can see it better. But it is pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
I remember that kill, that's for sure.
Yeah, big rip.
Yep.
Jeez. And granted, Mario's probably pulling his hair out too, trying to find this type of stuff. It's like, okay, well, obviously that corp has to be reached out to and told not to do it again, otherwise they get the ban from Moby.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why even bother doing that? I don't understand. Do they have like a bounty out, or because I did see that too? AOA's got a bounty on a few things out in New Eden. Mm-hmm. And I've been seeing people, hoarding the Navy issue frigates to yeet them, to purposefully burn up the bounty rewards, and 2, because of stuff like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this person was just trying to get away with fixing his snuggly rating. That's all.
Maybe.
So.
I don't know who Graceful
Never heard
DSWC. I will say I do know of a Graceful. That was from who's that? The guy that used to be in your corp that formed the Liquor Bandits.
He doesn't play anymore. So
no, Lord Dragon. Was it
yeah.
Lord Dragon?
It was Lord Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, he had an alt named Graceful, but that was spelled with one L, I believe.
Lustful, sinful, and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't that character.
No, that's not him. Interesting.
Though they have 554 shopping skills, so that's all right.
No, he's got 554 and stupidity skilled is what he's got. It's not very good.
There's that too.
Yeah.
If you could skill into that, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
All
then check this out. That came across my desk this last week as well. I'll post this link on the on-air chat. This is for a website called mmostats.com /game/Eve Echoes. Supposedly, this has the Eve Echoes active player count and population. You click on that link, then it gives you some info about the game, where you can get it and stuff like that. So here we found some pretty interesting numbers as to what they think is the estimated daily players and total players. Estimated daily players they have here at 4.2 thousand. We estimate that Eve Echoes has currently approximately 4.2 thousand daily players daily. And then estimated total players, 1.1 million. How many of those do you think is alts? At least half of those are alts
Yeah.
or spies.
Yeah, a lot.
You probably have a third of that spies. You have probably a third of that as actual characters, and the rest are alts.
So here's the thing about this that is interesting, kind of confusing. I don't even know how you would go about. Well, I kind of have an idea of how you would go about trying to get this data from specific platforms, whether that's emulators or even Android itself. But I know that you're not going to get this data off of iPads and iPhones. There's no way for them to know. There's no way to get that. So I'm just curious where they came up with this in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know. And what's the thing about this though is they have this broken down month to month over the year.
Right.
This is all info from last October going forward.
Yeah, and you can even scroll and see this ebb and flow of up and down that they and if you look at here's two interesting things about this. Let's just assume for a moment that this is correct, but it's only maybe a percentage of reality because they can't get everything, right? So let's say it's 80% of the truth. I think it's probably way lower than that, but let's just say it's 80% of the truth. There's an ebb and flow here of up and down, but over time, other than this valley that happened in April of 2023, where daily logins went from the beginning of April at 8.2 thousand to the end of April at 5.3 thousand, overall, this is an upward trend.
Yeah.
As in more people playing every day.
But notice too, and I think you even brought this up when I posted this link, we were talking about this, is if you look at, say, October, November, and December of 2022, bam, the 1st of December was when the war with Crabco started.
Yeah.
Look at January, had it went from 6.7 thousand players daily to 8.4 thousand. That's how many people came back for the war.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how many people came back. And look, and they stayed well into February, and then it started dropping off in March. It dropped a little bit in April, and then it started coming back up, and now it's dropping again. But, I mean, the May one could very well be an event. I remember maybe the Cyan C event, the first one, or T4 Citadel, whatever event that was going on at the time had brought people back, and I saw a spike there. Mm-hmm. May 13th had the most players online at 9.9 thousand daily players.
Yeah.
So what update was on May 13th? I might be able to look here. I mean, see if I go into their announcements. Say that again?
Was that when Supers first came out? It seems kind of close because they were a month or two after Cyan C.
I'm scrolling up. Let's see here. So I'm in June. Go further. Still in June.
Yeah. Waifu skins.
I'm actually really curious as to see what came out as far as announcements and stuff for May 13th. Special edition advanced ships will hit on May 17th. This was announced on May 13th. So, special edition advanced ships introduction. So that was the special cruisers update. The faction cruisers.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I think
Latora makes a good point. He says too. He says daily numbers might be going up because even the casuals are making the most out of AI nanos and high sec islands daily. Which there are plenty of times you can go to Clocateer or whatever it is, and see more people there than Jita. Plenty of days like that.
This event. So when the game got a spike. That was for the special advanced ship cruisers. That was when the Cyan C came out, and that was when the advanced battleships came out. So the Tempest Fleet issue, APOC Navy issue, Raven Navy issue, and the Megathron Navy issue. That was that update when that during that time frame. So that
Interesting.
brought back a lot of players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if that's true, if these we don't know if these stats were true or not. We don't know what kind of validity these stats have.
Yeah.
I mean, just statistically speaking, looking at the ebb and flow that they've got here and time frame here, I would say that there's at least a little bit of truth in these numbers, just because of what we just did right there, pegging when these spikes are, when these drops are. So, but who knows what the percentage of truth is? No way to know. NetEase doesn't release their numbers. They don't, which I mean, that's a suggestion I could spitball and come up with right now. Go over to go make a suggestion over there right now saying, NetEase, please, on the login screen, can you tell me how many active people are logged in to New Eden right now? The same way you do on EVE Online. It's been like that on EVE Online forever. I mean, probably 2000, probably 2006, 2005, somewhere in there was the first time I think I noticed it. But it could have been there since day one. I don't know. That should be a thing. That should be a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I know they'd probably be scared. Oh, we don't want people to know, but yeah.
Why? Like, EVE Online's been doing it for how long? It's like,
yeah.
It's not like Call of Duty where they have like 1 million players playing at the same time from all around the world.
Right.
Yeah, interesting.
That's a fault.
Yeah, take the website as a grain of salt. Like I said, this just came across me. Thought it was interesting to talk about, as a subject as to how many daily people are online, because people often ask that. Yeah. Be like, okay, well, how many people came back for the war? How many people come back for events? And I'm sure NetEase has these.
Oh,
they've got to have some sort of number for.
Yeah.
App downloads, daily activity, how many people are online right now, how many people are offline, total characters. Didn't they have that event, like a New Year's event, where it told you like how much money you've made in your, in career, who the pilot was that you've flown the longest with, etc.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't they just do a thing like that?
Yeah. That was the year-end thing.
I do notice that they stopped at June 4th, so they hadn't updated July or August on this website.
Maybe keep an eye on it. Save this link, go back to it again, and check. Just to see if they keep it updated from here.
All right. And that was it. That's all I had.
That's the show.
Dun dun dun. That's the show. I'm gonna give it to Taylor to do his sponsored content creator shout out. We'll call it a day.
That'll be easy because I think we only have 2 that we know of so far, and they're both outside of Damon Zell anyway, and they're both here tonight. That's Latora Tassadar and Muffin. I don't believe we have any more that have signed up for the sponsored content creators. So for those of you out there listening to the pod and you want us that sponsorship on our Discord, you'll have a special channel just for you to go and post up all of your new videos you put on YouTube or anywhere else. And then we'll list you out here at the end of the show. Otherwise, Ember Huntress. Sorry, Latora.
It's Latara.
It's still Latara. Yeah, it's one of the Tassadars, right? One of the many Tassadars. Ember Huntress.
Don't you do that? Even though it's somebody's alt, I still refer to them as their main.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
Nobody's gonna call you Rambo Rick.
Right. So anyway. Yeah. I enjoy your guys' content.
I do, very much so.
We need more though. Because often I see and I resort to having to watch other content creators that often bore me to death.
Yes.
But anyway.
Did that one
or they don't even speak English.
Was that one guy that was doing the podcast we were listening to? Is he still doing him? Remember that guy?
Yeah, I think he did 3 episodes and fell off the face of the earth. I don't know what happened to him. I could go back and see.
Poor guy.
In fact, I'll do that in the after party. So we'll get the after party started here in a little bit. As far as for those that don't join us, thank you for joining and watching us live, and we very much appreciate every single one of you. And 07, fly safe out there.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. Thanks.